welcome to Universal Journeys Radio with your host, Dr. Brenda Elbate and Donnie Winner. Follow your heart, for only you know which path is right for you. Universal Journeys Radio is about how spirituality intersects with nearly every other aspect of our lives, even when we do not realize it or even see it. Creativity and expression are a connection to the spiritual energy many seek to understand, and our identity is forged through this process. Universal Journey seeks to help illuminate the different intersections between creativity, spirituality, and identity in order to empower and enlighten. Today, our topic is anything goes. Our telephone number, if you'd like to call in to ask questions or get reading or whatever you want to do there, is 347-850-8292. Welcome, Donnie.
Hello, Brenda, dear.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm a little giddy. I'm a little kind of cool. I'm crazy. I had a great day today, so that was awesome.
Well, that's good to know. Oh, it's been a long week. I am so glad it's the weekend.
You know, I was glad it was the weekend, too, when it came around, and that way I could kind of relax. And for me, this was a women's getaway weekend at Camp Timbers up here at the YMCA camp, and they had different activities. So I was able to get up there and kind of just chill out and relax and be in the fresh air and walk. We was up the hills, down the hills, you know, everywhere we went we had to walk. And so I always look forward to this weekend so I can kind of clear the cobwebs, if you want to call it, out of my brain. And there are other things like all this other stuff that's going on. It's like, oh, I got to clear it. And I was able to do that this weekend, so that was kind of neat.
Well, that's good. Granted, to me, the thought of that much walking is physically exhausting, in my opinion. Like, I feel exhausted just caring about walking. That's pretty bad.
Well, I have to tell you, when I got back this morning or this afternoon, I laid down for about 3 or 4 hours. My body was aching and I was sore, and it was like, but it was fun. It was fun.
Well, that's good.
So I noticed that we have some callers here. So do we want to get going with the callers?
Yes, let's get going with the callers.
All right. Here we go. We're going in, callers. Be ready. Hello, caller. How are you?
Hello. This is Donna. I'm great. How are you?
Good, thank you. Do you have a question for us?
I do. I'm not in a relationship and I'm not working, so I wanted to know if you were picking up on any of these two.
For me, the relationship is going to come sometime this summer. I would say I'd give it a couple months or so, and there's this new person that's coming into your life. Very, very interesting person. He's a little quiet, but for the most part, he is going to be, I say he, but there's always other things going on there too. The individual is going to be very quiet. You may have to make the first move, but once you do, it's going to be like, ooh la la.
I get that same sensation.
Do you?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's cool. As far as work goes, are you really looking in the right career path? Because it feels like there's a change coming.
I just want to work. I've been working part-time. I can only work part-time, taking care of the elderly. But I was thinking what I'd like to do now is maybe just run errands for them.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Nice. Do you have enough individuals there that you'd be able to do that for?
I think so. Yeah, I'm in Santa Barbara, and I think there's a lot of elderly there.
Yeah. Yep. Is it? See, because I don't know anything about driving doing anything like that. But can you promote your own self, or do you have to go through an agency?
Well, I won't go through an agency.
Okay.
Yeah, I just do it on my own. Sometimes friends have given me jobs.
Okay. So the thing that I'm getting with that is make up some business cards. Make up a little brochure or something like that with your name on it, with a picture of yourself and what you're willing to do and stuff like that, and promote it. Promoting is essential, big time.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, I can put it on the bulletin boards at the health food stores and different places. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. A lot of people see those. That would be excellent.
So that feels like the right thing to do. Just make sure your vehicle is up to par and stuff like that, and because there's many different ways that you can help the elderly with the travel. Because you can also go out and get groceries for them, take them to doctor's appointments, and even take them shopping. So there's a lot of things that you can do there. Just make sure that your vehicle is up to par and mechanically fit and got all the safety things.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Now, is there a special license that you have to do? You have to do that?
No.
Because if so, then you'll have to do that too.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I'll do that. I'll take care of that. Yeah.
Okay. Donnie, do you have anything else?
I feel like you summarized it quite well. I feel that exact same way.
I wanted to ask you, my friend has invited me to come to Hawaii this summer. I don't know for how many weeks, but do you see this actually happening?
The first thing I got is go. Go. You get kids, go.
Right? Yeah. I think so. It'd be nice to get in the warm water.
I get the sense that you're going to learn something new about yourself when you go there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's going to be a positive. It's going to be a positive thing too.
Oh, good. Okay.
Well, and the other thing too is go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Go on.
I was going to say, the other thing, too, is you're going to meet different people there. I mean, they're going to be able to give you different ideas and stuff like that. And don't be surprised if you up and move there to do what you want to do, help the elderly and things like that.
Yeah, there is a fellow.
That's true.
My friend is going to introduce me to a guy, my high school friend. I'm 60 now, and he's around my age, and he lives in Hawaii. His name is Dusty. So I'll be meeting him. He's going to take him tonight out for dinner.
Ooh la la!
He's awful too. Really, he's fun.
Good.
Yeah.
So, do you have any other questions for us?
No, that's really good. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You are most welcome. Anytime. Thanks for calling in.
All right.
All right. Bye. Do you want to continue to listen?
I think I heard a click.
All right. Well, I put her on the other thing. So, all right. So we have another caller. So let's see what this caller has.
All right.
Hello, caller. Welcome to Universal Journeys with Donnie and Brenda. What can we do for you?
Hi, how are you? Thank you for taking my call.
You're most welcome.
Well, my question to you is, I'm a single mother to a toddler, and actually I've been raising her on my own for the last, basically since she was born. Her dad's not in the picture. I'm to the point now where everyone keeps telling me, Emily needs a father figure. She needs a father figure. She doesn't listen to me that good. I have to holler at her a lot for her to stop running or just certain things, more so than I did my other children when they were small. I'm an older mom. I'm 45 years old. So anyway, my other children are growing with their own children. So anyway, God felt the need to give me this baby without a daddy, which is fine. The daddy wasn't all that anyway. He was an asshole, to tell you the truth. But I have this beautiful baby, and I can't, how do I put this without seeming snotty? Emily's a lot of energy, and I don't know if I have the energy to put into another man and another man's problems. Yet the thought of not giving her a daddy at such a young age, it's almost unbearable. I have a lot of pain because of this. She gravitates to my friends that are males, and everyone's been telling me, including my older daughters, you need to find a man, you need to get married. I'm to the point where it's not something I want to do, but I'm willing to do it for the baby. And maybe I've just had a bad luck with men in the last couple relationships, you know, and I don't want to make that same mistake, especially now that I have this little person. Do you sense anything of me finding anyone and me being a happy family with this teeny baby that's financially secure, that will love her like their own?
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, I understand where your friends are coming from and stuff like that, and I understand that they see that the little one needs to have a father figure in their life because they feel that the father figure is a disciplinary, okay,
right?
Or okay, so and I can see that, and there are things that guys bring to the table which sometimes we don't get. But I don't necessarily feel that you need a man in your life, especially if you're not ready for it. Because if you're not ready for it and if you don't want it and you don't want to put the time and effort in it, it's not going to work out anyway.
Right.
I haven't wanted a man in my life. I really, even when her dad was in my life, the first year was great, but then they never say you know someone until you move in with them, and I don't have, and I just feel like I'm cheating her. And there's nothing wrong with me. I mean, I don't have any bad problems or habits. I don't know. I just feel like it's time to be a family now, you know, because I'm really cute and I'm smart, and I mean, I just could use the help with that baby. I don't want to be so prudy. That's it.
Well, okay. First of all, I'd like to convey the point that I know many single parents who are wonderful as single parents. And I think, and I know your friends are being supportive, like Brenda was saying, but I really honestly don't agree with them. The whole concept of needing a father figure, needing two parental figures, that's largely a cultural construct. And I think the further ahead that we go in time, that's starting to break down, because people are realizing that they can be good parents even on their own if they have to. Now, I agree with Brenda that it's important for you to not force yourself into a relationship, because not only would it not be good for you, but it wouldn't be good for your child either, because your child would see that. Your child would see that you're forcing yourself into something that you don't want to do. Your child will be much happier if your child sees you being happy too.
Oh, she always says, "You happy, Mom? You happy?" So I should just continue what I'm doing, correct? And nature will take its course. Maybe next year, maybe next week. But
and the thing is, I mean, it is to try to understand where she's coming from, okay? Because she has a lot to bring to the table for you. There are things that you can learn from her, and she can learn from you, but you have to have the same sort of communication communication between one another. But the thing is you have to step back away from the mommy issue. I'm going to say issue, but that's not what I mean. The mommy persona, okay, and see, okay, what is it? Why is she acting up this particular way or whatever? And then say, okay, this is where I need to step up and be that individual. It's like, okay, I'm good. If I need to be the disciplinarian, okay, this is how we're going to do it. And there are many ways to do that with children. So you don't have to spank them or whatever all the time. Sure, once in a while, okay, then you may have to do that. But you can always send them to the room or whatever. And they're going to throw temper tantrums, because think about this. They are trying to find out, figure out who they are in this life.
Yeah.
Okay, and Donnie's right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Donnie's right. If you go out and you get a guy just to come in and then you're not happy with it, she's going to pick up on that. I mean, she's a very sensitive young lady.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's really spiritual and into Jesus. Yeah. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah, so that's where you have to connect with her. Okay? If you have to come out with certain things, you have to connect with her through that process. Because that's deep within her, okay? And it's because she's had several lifetimes with that energy, Okay.
Really?
So you
think, oh, she's very high energy. Wow.
Yeah. So you
into her
you
little
have to connect
soul.
with her. Yeah. You have to meet her on her level. And by you meeting her on her level and understanding her, it's bringing you up too. You got goosebumps. I know you do. I can feel it.
Yeah.
You know. So this is one of those things. This is where you are on equal plane here, because there are things that she can teach you from her past lifetimes that you don't know in this lifetime, and it'll bring your energy up to her energy.
Oh, she always wants to, she's a performer and she's beautiful and but she's, who's your daddy? Jesus is my daddy. No, she's a firm believer that he really is her real dad. And she is a little gift, and I just can't get over this little girl, how special she is. People stop on the street just to look at her. I mean, she has like an aurora around her. I don't want to damage her. I don't want to yell at her and damage her when she's bad.
No, and see, the thing is because she still remembers some of the things that transpired in other lifetimes with her and Jesus and the connection there. It's very possible that Jesus was her daddy, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't necessarily believe that Jesus didn't have children. I'm sorry, I don't believe that. But that's okay. That's just me. And if that's the case, then when she starts to act up, you can say, okay, what would Jesus, your daddy, say to you during this time frame? Would he tell you not to do it this way or whatever? So use that psychology on her. Don't go overboard with it, though. Okay,
right, not overboard, but that's a good tool. That's a good tool.
And make her think that, because then she's going to remember. Go ahead, Donnie.
Yeah. I have a question for you. I get the distinct vibe that you're really hard on yourself as a mother. Is that true?
Oh, I hate myself.
Don't do that.
I spoil her run, yet I don't understand her, and yet when she runs, I scream, get over here. I mean, I've had people call the police on me before in public for yelling, get over here, what are you doing? You know what I mean? I just don't think I'm good. Even though I love her to death, I don't hit her. We have a lot of fun. We sleep together. She's my best friend. But I don't think I'm good enough for her.
Well,
why not?
I don't know. Yeah, why not? Why not?
God gave me this gift, and then her dad walked out, and it's not her fault, but I have a lot of anger. Like, if he walked out on me, fine, but why walk out on the baby? It's hard for me, and it's sad for me that she'll ask me, do I have a daddy? No, Jesus is my daddy. Never mind. I just feel like I'm failing her in the family part, even though we do have family. She has a niece and a nephew, my grandkids. Good friends around her that love her. I just feel like I'm just missing it. Yeah.
Go ahead, Donnie. If you got something, go.
I think you need to give yourself more credit. You are in a difficult situation where the father is gone, and I mean you're still battling with your own emotions over that too. And I don't think you should hold that. You shouldn't hold that against yourself.
Oh, my older daughter always brings up, don't you wish that you would have given him a break? Because I always try to push him into things. And I'm like, okay, whatever. It's hard when people are always bringing him up and talking about him. I got to move on. I'm thinking of her and I going to get therapy because, I do have a big hatred about myself from cheating her out of a daddy. And I just, I don't know. I don't have a good opinion of myself. And I try really hard,
Well, and the question is, and I already know the answer to this. The question is was this how you were treated when you were growing up?
No, actually, my parents were adorable to me. My mother said that I was the perfect child. Of course, I don't remember when I was little, but I remember her. We always went to I grew up in San Clemente. It's in Orange County. We always went to Busch Gardens, SeaWorld. My mom had me to the babysitters until I was 14 when she'd go out. No alcohol, no drugs. Mom was always home. She worked as a nurse in the hospital. I was good. But then 16, 17, 18, I kind of wanted to go do my own thing, and I met my first baby's father when I was 18, and then I had Leah when I was 19, you know, and then it just progressed. More babies, more different husband. Johnny died, different husband, different baby. I have all my babies, 4 of them are by different men. And the 2 of them passed away, and the other 2 basically took off. They didn't want to be involved. Yeah.
Right. Well, and that's their issue. That's their issue. That's not your issue. You know, and that's the thing is to remember. That's their issue. That's not your issue. It just...
Yeah, I feel like I'm just stuck with this little person, and she's getting older and older and older, and I want to enjoy her. And I almost want her to be perfect, but I know she's not. She's sassy. She's argumentative. Right. She's a little me as an adult. She's a little me, but as a baby, but a me now as an adult, but she's a little me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But even when, I mean, if we grew up with perfectionism or thinking that we're perfect and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden we have all these other things that happen to us, you know, and it's all of a sudden it's like, well, we're not so perfect. We are harder on ourselves because what happened? Because people were thinking I was perfect and now I'm not. Trust me, been there, done that, still do that every once in a while, you know. But it really is loving yourself. And I can say, love yourself. If you can begin to love yourself for who you are right now, you will change the environment around yourself. And also you will help your daughter to be able to love herself for who she is as well.
Oh, you got it. Well, yeah, my mom often says to me, oh, you were such the perfect little girl. What happened? And I know she says it joking, but it hurts my feelings. And
well, right. And
I don't know.
And that's part of that stuff that I was picking up. You know, yeah, you could be a perfect little girl, but you know something? Sometimes the road of hard knocks gets us, and we have to be we have to fight for who we are. And sometimes fighting for who we are is not the perfect thing.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't come out the perfect way.
To love and heal myself. I have to love, and I have to thank God every day for this girl. And when you told me to drop down to her level and start communicating with her better, I was thinking about that. I just needed someone else to say that, and I want a communication is very good. Listen to her, indulge her more from when she gets home from school. Oh, Mommy's tired. I work all day, watch TV, go to bed. No, she wants to play tea. I mean, she's got everything under the sun. This baby's got every kind of bicycle, toys that are still in boxes, every single kind of doll there is. I spoiled her rotten, and she wants to play. So I'll drop down and be a child with her, right? And who needs a man, right? I'm not ready.
Right. The other thing too is sometimes you have to step back from giving her everything she wants. That's a hard thing to do, okay? But it also, in the long run, will teach her that what she wants in life, she has to work for too. Okay. So you have that balance. You can give her stuff, but also get her to do stuff around the house, little things. Don't say you have to do this, because I hate doing dishes. I mean, to this day, I hate doing dishes.
Yeah,
okay?
right. Me too. I hate folding clothes. Maybe get her to help me put her clothes away.
Yeah, and make it fun. Make it fun.
And then give her her dollar.
That'll give you the opportunity to bring yourself to her level too.
Oh, wow, you ladies are awesome. Oh, I wish we could have tea together, and you could meet my little Emily. I know next time you guys are on, I'm going to call and let you talk to little Emily, and then you can get a little better feel of her. She's spectacular. Oh, you guys have just given me like a whole new rebirth. I feel really good now. I'm better. I just,
you know.
And
we also have my friend Jane here. She's in the chat room, and she says, would you be open to counseling to help you love yourself? Okay. The other one is that it says that she's saying to you she should tell her mother that this hurts her feelings when she says that. What happened to you? Why you're not? She's perfect.
They're mean to me. My older daughter says all that stuff too. They're not.
Yeah, and so you got to tell them like, hey, you know, I'm not going to take this anymore type of deal. You're hurting my feelings, and I don't like it. And the other thing, too, is Jane is saying, because Jane is a life coach, Jane is saying is about giving, it's all about giving the child choices. giving children choices. Okay, if you want this, then help me do this, or and make it fun. If you make it fun and you're there, part of that, and then after, like you said, then after give them their dollar or whatever, then they know that they have to work for what they get.
Wow.
I was like,
even
okay,
if it's
well,
like cleaning,
if you do,
just cleaning up the back seat of the car because my car is like torture rush. I have an SUV. Okay. Oh my God. Go right. Okay. Clean this part.
And then Jane also says in here. Jane also says in here the other way to do it too is, it's like, do you want to pick up the blue toys or the red toys? Give her a choice between the two type of deal. I mean, it's an example. And that way she's only picking up one of them. So give them, it's like, okay, you pick up, do you want to pick up the dolls or do you want to pick up your clothes type of deal, and then give her the choice.
Yeah, and she has two, I just bought her another baby bed for her dolls. So I bought her a ton of stuffed animals. Do you want to pick up the dolls? You're right, or do you want to sit? Because she's expecting things every day. I get up to school. Where's my surprise? I think they all think I'm crazy. I'll come to school with 6 million balloons and juice blenders, the juices that you go get. Oh my goodness! I think I'm nuts. I overwhelm it because I feel empty because I feel like I'm cheating her. But that comes to loving myself, and I'm going to check and get some counseling, some therapy, if she said, home, and I'm going to have a better understanding of this little person, and I'm going to make her help me clean the car and up the toys, and I want to spend time with her because life is really short. And she's going to be bored soon. She's growing up. All right. Well, no, I mean, I'm happy now. I'm not depressed about it. I just don't want to miss a day with this angel.
Right.
All right. Thank you, ladies, so much. God bless you.
You're welcome. God bless you, too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. That was pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome. Donnie, you're too funny.
I tried.
I know you do. You're so funny. So, no, it's like, I'm telling you what, this weekend for me, it's been a very long time that I've sit down and meditated for an hour, okay? That's my normal. I like to meditate for an hour, and it's easy for me to do once I do it. But ever since December, it seems like I've been going through this stuff because of my friend passing away at the beginning of the month. But it's just, when I meditated at Camp Timbers, something left me halfway through, and I was like, whew, oh, man. And I'm back. I didn't struggle getting information for these guys, and that is like way too cool. I love this. And it looks we have a break coming up, and we'll bring Jane in when we come back, okay?
All right.
So with that said, guys, we will be right back after this. I think we're going to play some maybe. And welcome back to Universal Journeys. Our call number is 347-850-8292. You have Dr. Brenda L. Bates, Donnie Winters, and now we have Jane Saylor on the line with us, and she's got some cool stuff to talk about. Welcome back, everybody.
Yay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I wanted to discuss. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so what about this Bruce Jenner thing last night?
Yeah, from Friday night. Actually, it was the interview that was on Diane Sawyer did on Friday night with Bruce Jenner. And it was very interesting because, for one thing, it helped me to understand, even though I'm pretty open to things in the first place, but he had said that all his life, that even when he was a little boy, that he would look in the mirror and see a boy looking in the mirror at him when he knew that he was a female. He said, my soul is that of a female.
Mm-hmm.
And he just always knew it. And he said that he struggled his whole life with that, and when he went through the 1976 Olympics,
he said it was so hard for him because, like I said, he knew his whole life he used to dress in his sister's clothes growing up. And he also discussed very openly about how people, even once they're going through, he started taking hormones in the early 80s and wanting to go through the gender change. And he only did it for, I think he said a couple of years, but it got to be too much for him. He was afraid of what it would do to his children and what they would have to live with, the repercussions of it. And so he stopped taking them, and he went back to his old depressed self. And he talked about how many people commit suicide because of how horrible they feel, even once they are going through the gender identity change. Mm-hmm. And he also, I was just starting to say this when we were on the break, he had said that when the paparazzi, this whole thing with Bruce Jenner has gotten so much media attention, and not in a good way. And he said that he came home one night and he was walking up and down his hallway, pacing, and so upset about everything. He said how easy it would have been to just go in the other room and get the gun and take his life. He said, but then I thought again about my children, and I couldn't do it to them. But
wow,
what a horrible thing for someone to have to live through. And I can't empathize with him. I can sympathize, but I can't empathize because I can't. I've never felt that feeling.
Well,
go ahead.
I'm not transgendered or anything, but in a way, I can kind of empathize because people who don't feel like they are the correct gender end up being themselves, to use the colloquial term, in the closet, I guess. They spend so much time and energy trying to put up a facade and to be the gender that society expects them to be. And I think that is what has such damaging repercussions on people, like not being honest and upfront because of the social unacceptability.
Mm-hmm. And he was open with his wives about it. After a period of time, he said he wasn't open going in to the relationships, but he did eventually share his feelings with his wives. And he's had 3 wives, 3 or 4, 3 I think. But it's just, I just can't even fathom what he must have lived with, and the pain that he must have lived with, and the confusion. Because back when he was growing up, there wasn't any way for him to know, why do I feel this way? Why, right. As much as I feel right dressing up in my sister's clothes, why does that feel so right?
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, you know something, Jane?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I remember when I was younger, and I would say maybe 7, 8. I mean, a lot of things happened to me during that particular time frame. And it's like I remember standing outside, and I think I said this before on a different radio station. I remember standing up outside, and I'm like looking up at the sky and pointing my finger at God. It's like, God, why did you make me a girl? I wanted to be a boy. Okay? So I can sort of understand where Bruce Jenner is coming from.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I felt that I wanted to be a boy, and I should have been a boy, and maybe not for the same reasons that he feels it, but, boys got to do a lot of different things. They were more free, and they could do more things, and they didn't have to do women's junk, and they didn't have to have boobs, and they didn't have to have, so on and so forth. So it was so going through all of that stuff, I can understand where he, inside, the whole inside is saying, this is not who I am. And I think it's because of a past life. You know, they resonated with, or he resonated with that gender during that time frame, that he brought it with him during this time frame. Or the other aspect is he's getting ready for the next lifetime to be a woman. I mean, those are out-of-the-box thinkings.
And see, another thing that, I mean, if you look at this from a cultural perspective, like Western culture views gender as a distinct binary, or either male or female. And and now that people are being more out with the fluidity of gender, it's a growing social issue. It's much better than it was back in the 80s, but it's still definitely an issue right now. And what many people don't realize is that in cultures like many Native American tribes and nationalities in the South Pacific all value the fluidity of gender, and I just think that's something that Western culture hasn't yet grasped.
Yeah, he was trying to explain to Diane Sawyer the fact that he... Oh, my train just derailed. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
My mind is going about 1,000 miles an hour. There's so much I want to say.
I'm telling you, that happens. That absolutely happens.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, if we think about this stuff, and there's been transgenders out there, you know, all of this whole time of us being on the Earth plane or the Earth being here. And I can, you know, way back in the Neanderthal and, you know, when the Homo sapiens first came, I mean, I'm sure we had all of that. We just didn't know what to do with it. And that's, like Donnie said, it's like being in the closet. You know, society really screws us over with that. It's like, okay, you have to be male or female, or you have to be this, or you have to be that. And that's like, that's poppycock. That's poppycock. You know, and it's up to us. And it's up to people like us to be able to change that, or to bring another awareness to people that you don't have to be that way. You just be yourself.
Well, it's also a thing that a lot of people have a difficult time talking about because they don't know what's socially acceptable when referring to the subject. And and it's gaining ground though, but I know I'm always seeing on the news, and I've made YouTube videos about like young transgender teens who take their lives because they're bullied, they're hated because anything that's perceived as being a difference is a horrible thing to a lot of people, and people perceiving in that way is a learned experience.
My train jumped back on the tracks.
Okay, go ahead.
I know. Woo! He was trying to explain to Diane Sawyer the difference between your gender and sex. He was saying that there's a difference, because she was asking him, well, once you have the sex change and everything, who will you be? And he looked at her like what the hell face, and he said, well, I'll be me.
Finally,
you know, I'm finally going to be me. He said that my whole life up until now was not wrong. Yeah. He said, finally, I'm 65 years old and I get to live the rest of my life. He said, I finally got to a point where I told myself, I cannot live the rest of my life not finding out what it's like to be me. He was saying he talked to his daughters, and he had said that Kim Kardashian, his stepdaughter, was one of the people that really seemed to understand the best. And he said that he told her, and then all of a sudden that there wasn't any conversation about it for a long time, and then he asked her about it, and he said, are there more questions that you have? And Donnie, you just said people don't think that they can talk about it, and that's what she said to him, was, I didn't think that this was open for conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, it's definitely open for conversation. If you have any questions, he said, I will always be your dad. I've been your dad since you were a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
I will always be there for you.
A lot of people fear that a person's, let me think of how to word this. So one thing that transgender people have to face is the fear that the people in their lives are going to perceive them completely, like in a different way, or think less of them, or think more, they're going to see their identity as being completely different, when in fact, people like Bruce Jenner, they're being who they've always should have been.
Right.
And it's like, I can only use my own personal experience of coming out. Like, my family was concerned with me being a completely different person. They thought that if I came out that I wouldn't be Donnie anymore. And then they realized, this is still the same Donnie. He's just more confident in himself because he knows who he is. And
yeah,
I think
it's actually the real Donnie.
Exactly. And I think this is the same case with transgender people too, because once they do embrace themselves and accept who they are, like, they're more confident, and the people around them see that and understand it.
Yeah.
It's just getting to that point that's difficult.
And true, yeah. And you think about this really is no different than the rest of us trying to figure out who the heck we are. But it's a little different, okay, because our identity is, what do we identify with, or who do we identify with, or what do we identify with? Bruce Jenner's got it. I mean, he says, I am now. I am who this person is. I've always been this person. I'm tired of identifying with someone else who I was never. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So these are all things. These are all aspects of identity. And, I mean, look at me. I dress, I've noticed lately, more like a tomboy, more like a guy, if you want to call it that. And I've had several people say, hey, you're gay, right? Like, no, I happen to like to dress like this, okay? This is just me. This is me.
Right.
Can I dress up in a dress and look frilly and have my high heels on and everything else? And yes, do I wear makeup? I can, but I don't like to. So it's pain in the butt taking the crap off.
You put it on.
Yeah. but it's kind of the same thing. And I saw, I think it was on the Today Show not too long ago, where this young girl, I think it was a girl, yes, this young girl from a very, very, very young age said that she was a boy.
Yeah.
Okay? And instead of having her parents say, no, you're a girl, you're going to dress this way, no, that was like, no, I'm a boy. And she's now Michael. And she's still young, but I'm thinking, okay, now that she's put this out, her mom and dad's put this out to the world, and when she goes to school now, or he goes to school now, what are they going to do to her? What are they going to do to him? How are they going to treat him?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, how do you stop the breast from developing and stuff like that? I mean, those are all thoughts that were going through my mind, and I'm thinking two things. Awesome. You got it. You know who you are. Your mom and dad say, yes, I support you in everything, every step of the way. And then on the other hand, I'm thinking, ooh, that's going to be a tough road here.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many things that's going to develop along the way.
For me, like, something that I have identified with for about 4 or 5 years now is being somebody with chronic migraine.
Mm-hmm.
Who I can't go out of the house to a grocery store because of the fluorescent lights. I can't work because I can't be in fluorescent lights and I can't be around computers that have the LCD backlight on computers. And there's a lot of times that even just the sunshine bothers me. I can't make plans with my friends and know that I'm going to be able to make that appointment. And that's been going on for a long time. And I dislike, I don't want to say hate because I hate the word hate. But I dislike having to identify with being that person.
Mm-hmm.
It's so difficult for me.
It's challenging. It's challenging.
Very challenging. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just try to focus on what I do have. You know, I do have the ability to be able to take classes online, which is what I'm doing. You know, I do have the ability to do this and be on these phone calls when I can make it. You know, and there are many things that I do have the ability to do, and I've been trying really hard to focus on that instead of what I can't do.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I think that's a big thing right there. Is if we can focus on things we can do, then I think we're better off than focusing on things that we can't do.
Absolutely.
Is that a challenge? Is that a challenge? You betcha. You betcha. You know, that's something I've been going through since December. You know, I was like, okay, well, I could this, and I can't do this, and I can do this, and it's overwhelming going back and forth. And it's like, you know, as of today, it's like, heck with it. I'm just going to do what I can do, and that's it.
Good.
Exactly.
But I have to be me, and that's the thing. And everyone else, you have to be you. The other thing, too, just like we say here on this show, follow your heart, for only you know which path is right for you. And I'm on that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just not for the spiritual aspect. That's not for the religious aspect. That's for everything in life. It doesn't matter what other people say, what other people do. You have to follow what is resonating within you, just like Bruce Jenner did. Okay, and come out. Come out of the closet. Come out there. Who cares? You got to be you.
Like the quote that I heard I repeated a couple of weeks ago, what other people think of you is none of your business.
Yeah, that's hard.
It's very hard.
And another thing, I was actually telling this to someone on my YouTube recently, that in order to come out successfully or to be sure of who you are, surround yourself with people who support you. I cannot stress enough how important it is to have a positive group of people supporting you. Having a negative group of people, they'll constantly knock you down, they will invalidate you, but having the opposite will uplift you and empower you.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
I talk about those negative people like being crabs in a bucket.
Mhm.
You know, crabs in a bucket, when the one that tries to get out, the one that's working its way out and trying to get out, the other crabs will reach up and yank it back down.
Yep.
I'm tired of being yanked back down. I'm going to start snipping. Chip, chip, chip.
Good for you.
I'm tired of being yanked back down, too. It's making me crabby.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Yay, puns. I love puns.
And right now my cat's trying to pull me back down too. At least, you know, she's sitting in my feet and trying to grab at me too. It's like, okay.
Is it giving you pause, Brenda?
She's giving me paws to claws. Claws to paws. And when we come back off a break, we have another caller. So when we come back off a break in another 3 minutes, caller, we will get to you, okay? So I'm not ignoring you. I do see you there. But, you know, this identifying with certain things and individuals and stuff like that this is a big deal for us all the way around. But the thing is, like I said, you have to follow your own heart. You have to follow what resonates within you, what pushes you forward, what your passion is. You know,
and I think sometimes go ahead.
I was going to say, in like you said, like you were going to say, sometimes we don't know what that is because we're still believing in what other people tell us, what we're supposed to do. So we're confused, like, okay, what do we like? What do we do? And all I can say with that is, remember when you were a child, what were you interested in doing? Mm-hmm. If you can go back to your childhood and find out what you like to do, okay, that's the key right there. At least that's a big key. And then go from there. I used to like to draw, paint, and stuff like that, and I got away from that. I still like to do that. I would like to do that, but everything's been taking me away. But I can tell you, without a shadow of a doubt, I have always been spiritual. Maybe not necessarily religion, but I've always been spiritual. And I've always tried to look at the other side of the coin, to understand people. That's something I do well. That's a passion. I want to understand what other people are going through so I can understand them, so I don't have to have fear against them or for them or hate them because I'm afraid. Wow, I don't know about that. That's kind of creepy.
Yeah, or judge them.
Yeah. But, it's like, I try to understand. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, because sometimes they do it on purpose and freak you out anyways, but hey. And then you have to remember, well, it could only be, it might be just that person.
And sometimes they're just a big lug of a jerk.
Yeah, sometimes. And
you just got to call it to see it.
Yeah, well, and then at the same time, sometimes we're that way to other people too, and we might not even realize it.
Absolutely.
So you're looking at both sides of the coin. And that's the big thing. But follow your passion. What are you passionate about? People are working in jobs they hate. Okay? Why? Because they haven't followed their passion. They haven't figured out what their passion is. I've talked to plenty of people, and it's like, I ask them, well, what's your passion? I don't know.
We've been there before. We've been there before in that same position.
Yeah, and that boggles my brain because they don't know what their passion is. And I'm like, wow. Speaking of that, my passion is to go on break right now because it is 8 o'clock, and that way when we come back, off the break, we will get our caller. Pardon? Good segue? Yeah.
Good segue. Yeah.
All right. So we are going to, let's see, what are we going to listen to right now? Let's listen to some Aerosmith, Dream On, and we'll be right back
in
about 4.5 minutes. Okay. See you on the flip side. And welcome back to Universal Journeys with your host, and your notes I'm going raw, with Dr. Brenda L. Bates and Donnie Winter, and we have our guest, James Taylor. Go ahead, Donnie. It's all yours.
All right. So before we get the show on the road, I wanted to do an advertisement real quick. If you like listening to our show and you want to go find us on Facebook, type in Universal Journeys in the Facebook search bar and click like, or go to the URL bar, facebook.com/Universal Journeys 111. We post a lot of awesome stuff, so definitely go do that. Back to you, Brenda.
Back to me. Okay, what am I doing? Oh, yes, this is what I'm doing. We are going to call a caller in. She's been waiting out there for a long time, so here we go. Are we ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
Hello, caller. Welcome to Universal Journeys. Hello? Are you there?
Uh-oh.
No, we'll come back. All right. Well, we do have another caller besides this one. Let's call this one in. Hello, caller. You're next on the air. Welcome to Universal Journeys.
Yes, it's Jay calling from Canada. How's it going?
Hi,
good.
Jay.
How are
How's it going with you?
Pretty good. So you have a topic for tonight?
We do.
What
Anything goes. Anything goes.
That's a good one.
So basically our topic's anything.
Yes. Technically, we've been discussing about, we did several different things, actually. The one that I remember the most is about Bruce Jenner and about him switching from being a male to a female. But we don't necessarily have to explore that anymore. We did bring in some other aspects, but really, it's anything goes. Whatever topic that you might want to talk about, we can talk about. And then, of course, at the beginning, when we first started, we did a couple readings. So, I mean, it's been one of those times, and that's what this is all about.
Okay. Let's start with the male picture in the spirituality and how they fit in with it right now, according to the divine feminine that's happening on this earth right now. Can we talk about that?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
That's a good one, eh?
Go ahead. You start now. Yeah. We can talk about it.
Get it started. We'll jump in.
Okay. Well, I find that right now is that I think guys are waking up to who they actually are, and because we think our plane of existence is usually the physical plane of how much of whatever, of how much we make or how much we have, and that defines us and what we do. And I find that actually is changing in some sort of ways that I feel that the female is actually being threatened in sort of way of the survival thing, the survival instincts, okay, of having, a provider and things like that. And I find also when the guy is starting to move up or starting to awaken, I find there's a disruption in the harmony of the relationship in some sort of way. Either the person will get jealous of the person waking up, or they just want them to stay the same or controlled. So I'm wondering about how is the feminine energy actually affecting guys right now in actually being more masculine, actually, or the masculine energy that they're I don't know, how would you say it, getting used to, or just wondering what it is. I just wonder your thoughts about that is.
Well, I can tell you a little bit about what I've been experiencing with that. And it is quite interesting. It seems like it's harder for the male to switch up into a feminine aspect because we've had this male dominance for a very long time. Even though prior to the male dominance and the, industrial age and the Iron Age and all that stuff, there in the Renaissance Renaissance time period, we were feminine. And we worked with that femininity. Now what I'm finding, and this is also, through that spiritual chain or connection, is it's the balancing of the two. It's okay, male or women had to become, being this masculine world, and we had to learn how to be more masculine and stuff like that. And now it's teetering the other way. And it really isn't going to go fully over into the feminine aspect of everything, but it is going to equalize both of them. And that's really what we want to do, because we want to get the masculine energy to equalize out so they can understand the feminine energy. The feminine energy has already learned some of the masculine energy to be able to balance that in harmony. And that's really where we're going. And some of the masculine energy men, and some women too, because they've really went over there, they're having a little bit of a struggle with the more feminine energy because they have this, I'm this big dude and I can do this and I'm going to do that. Oh.
Whoa.
So I think this is a good thing. I feel this is a good thing. And it's going to be struggling, and there's going to be many, many, many changes out there. As you can already tell, I mean, the implications here is huge, because not only is the masculine energy going to equalize out with the feminine energy, you're also going to have all of those, say like the United States. The United States is very masculine energy, and they're very strong and powerful and everything else. That has to change, and you're going to have that change come within that. In some other places, that's why we're having, the difficult time right now with wars and power struggles and things like that. And that's
right.
It's going to work. It's going to work, but in order to get some of that guck out of there, we have to do this stuff. And if we could understand that, okay, these things are happening for a reason, it will better help us to balance our energies in our life. okay, this is something that's got to happen.
And it's very interesting, Brenda, that you mentioned the whole point that the United States is like masculine energy, because I was going to broaden it out a bit and talk about culture in general, because the United States has an origin that's largely rooted in the Puritan belief, which has very, very, very distinct ideas of masculinity and femininity. Masculinity and femininity all root back to that whole gender binary, like this is what makes a man, this is what makes a woman. And I think people are slowly realizing, especially men, that it is okay to express, it is okay to do things that aren't stereotypically male, while women have had to force themselves to be more stereotypically male in order to assimilate to our culture. And I feel like men have been kind of behind, because it's more socially unacceptable to be feminine than it is to be masculine. Does that make sense?
Yes. And I think that if you look at it as pendulum swinging that goes back and forth, and it went way one way to such an nth degree with the women trying to be masculine and burning their bras and doing everything with the women's rights movement, and now it's swinging back the other way, and it's not gonna it's what's gonna happen is it's gonna eventually start swinging a little less to the women and a little less toward the men, and it's going to swing, and it's going to eventually find a happy medium right in the middle. But the pendulum has to swing both ways in order for it to find its balance.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I have to agree with that. And if we don't, then things are going to happen that's not going to be good for all of us. So we really have to make a change. I mean, because this is the evolutionary time in our life. Mm-hmm. We have to change.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right, Jay?
My question is also, too, is that I feel that we're stuck in a paradigm of where you're supposed to be through media and things like that for guys and women. And it's like we're defining ourselves through that way. And I feel that the world, or the men and women, are slowly waking up to who they are, and this is a slow process. Mm-hmm. And I feel that this, I don't know, we always get pulled into something that is make believe, if you want to say it that way, that we're not. Mm-hmm. And also, mm-hmm. men physically are wired differently in the head than men too.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and that makes a difference also too. So I just it's a very interesting time right now. I can say that. And then bringing peace to the men and women is we're bringing peace towards the world too, right? So it works that way because we're all quote unquote all connected also, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's been so many years of man bashing going on in the media. Even I mean, on TV commercials, you see the wife is the sweet little woman who might go, she might work out of the house, but she might be, taking care of the kids, and the husband doesn't know anything. He doesn't even know how to change a diaper. And now I'm seeing commercials that are, I really enjoy seeing there's one where a father's taking his daughter to the bus stop, and he's running beside the bus once she gets on the bus because he doesn't want to let her go. And then there's the other one with the father who does his daughter's laundry. She dresses up in this sweet little costume, and she gets it all dirty, and she puts him in jail and this pretend jail so that he can do her laundry and stuff so that she can wear her princess dress again. But they're starting to show men in a different light, and that's great. And I think that that's just a very, very small part of it. But there's been so many years of women bashing men.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that they're whatever, you know, all the stereotypes.
It's almost become socially acceptable to bash
Absolutely.
men because of the longevity of the bashing against women. It's interesting how both of them kind of waver with one another.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know, people wonder why men and women have problems communicating. Well, it's a real good reason right there, is because of the misunderstanding that men have with women, women have with men, in society, in the culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a part of the balancing act that's going on. I really do think that's part of the balancing act.
Yes.
You know, and we have to be able to balance it, because like adolescents, we're finding our way, you know, of who we are, you know, and how to balance all this stuff. And it's not an easy road.
No.
No matter what you do, it's not an easy road. And it really depends on how we're taking these things and how we're doing certain things. And in the long run, it's going to work out. But right now, it's like chaotic, and oh my God, what's going on here? I don't like this.
Yeah. But you know, when it's younger people, or you know, you don't understand the way things are yet, and
mm-hmm.
and you're living in this environment that people don't. If somebody says something and it says one thing and then acts a totally different way, you're going to believe the way they act, not what they say. And
mm-hmm.
that's children as well. I mean, that's just typical. That's what will happen. They will go with what you do, and what the environment that people grow up in makes such a huge difference in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, even as far as the attachment that the infant has to the mother in the first days, if that attachment isn't there could be repercussions that last that child for the rest of their life.
Mm-hmm.
There's been lifelong studies that have proven this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you wouldn't think that in these first few days of life that it would affect a person for the rest of their life, but it does.
Yeah, you know, going deeper down a rabbit hole about this one, you know, where there's no, like I said, there's no book or anything that when they come out of the womb, basically, because you know, it's interesting. I say that because it's I always reference this, and I just made this up actually. You know those fabric tags that says, if you remove this, it's unlawful, and right, and it tells you this is what you do to wash it. Okay, we don't have one of those when we come out of the womb.
Correct.
You know, and we don't have a basis for anything. And then, you know, between conception and about 7 years old, that's when our quote-unquote behavior patterns, or what you call beliefs, you know, are in us. And then we try to figure out why are we doing this and why are we doing that, you know, in our lifetime. And some people don't even get to that point. They're just like, okay, well, accept it and, you know, I'll deal with it. But when you question out why, then you start investigating, well, where did this come from? You find out where the source is and go, oh, my God, you know, how come our parents didn't do this, or how come we watched this and like this? Because our teachers were our parents. So,
and go ahead.
Yeah, and I find it's unfortunate because it really shapes the behaviors of kids nowadays to what they are what they quote unquote should be and what they actually should be doing. But there's no basis. There's no like, okay, you're here to evolve your soul to a higher level between now and when you die, and all the people that you're going to meet are going to be like a revolving door, because you know they'll come in a life teaching you lessons and things like that, and in the meantime you're supposed to maybe procreate your soul or your I don't know, species, if you want to call it that, or and do that at the same time, right? And try to survive, So it's just yeah. There's no book that says that.
No, it's very unfortunate, and so many parents don't know. This sounds crass, and I don't mean it to sound crass, but so many parents don't know how to raise their children.
Well, there's no book on it.
There's no book on it. Absolutely, there's nothing. But I've got all these ideas that it would be just wonderful to be able to go into elementary schools and have programs that teach parents how to talk to their kids about safe sex, talk to their kids about drugs and alcohol, talk to their kids about how to get along with in a family unit, and teach the parents what they need to do. There's several different behavioral styles to raise children in, and there's one in particular that has been proven over and over again to be the best way to raise children, and that's not the way children are being raised.
Mm-hmm.
But if we could get that information to the public, then perhaps we could start changing people one little bit at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you want to do that, actually? Let's say a person who's actually owns a multinational company. Why would you want to do that? I mean, seriously, why would you want to do that? It's easier to control them than actually give them more freedom to do, what to be happy and all this stuff, right? Or be the person next door, or be the person who is a rock star, or things like. I did the same thing when I was young. I was actually like, I like to be that person and this person, right? Well, I'd like to be what do you say? I'd like to be a fireman when I grow up, or whatever, or a doctor and things like that. So even as little as those adolescent years, we're teaching them to be a certain way too. Even with the toys that they play, also now too, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's you see how it's conforming to a certain way of doing things, right? Even in that early stages. And then we know, like I said, what and the studies have shown that when people retire at 55 years old, they die shortly after that because they thought their purpose was to raise a family, maybe have a job, support, things like that. Then they came to me and it's like, what do I do with myself? Oh, I have what was my purpose? Oh, well, that was that. No, it wasn't that. That was basically a myth or yeah. So it's breaking those rules,
Right. On average, when an individual retires, 5 years is normally 5 years. If they're in a high stress work environment, when they leave, normally 5 years.
Really?
That's how long they last. Yep.
Wow.
I read a study on that. And the reason I did that, looked it up and stuff like that, was because my now ex-husband, when he retired, I wanted to see how long the longevity was of as a military person leaving the military. How long would they live? And on average, it is about 5 years because that stress is not there. And then they have issues, once they get out, they have issues of high blood pressure and all the rest of the stuff because, again, that stress is not there. It is just amazing.
Their body has created a tolerance to that stress level, and once that stress level isn't there, they go through like withdrawals almost for that stress level.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, and like Jay said, that you go out when you're finished, it's like, okay, now what do I do? Because that's who I was over there. Now what do I do? And I mean, I think we're all kind of going through that. I mean, I'm even going through that. It's like, okay, I was this and now I'm this and, and a reverend and a doctor. It's like, okay, who really am I? What do I really like? What is my passion anymore? It's just, okay, where do I go from here type of deal. Yeah. So it happens. It's just not at the beginning. It's not in the middle. It's just not at the end. It's like, okay, this is throughout the whole thing. Okay, where do I go? What do I do? How do I make it better for me and others? Do I want to make it better for others? It's like it's going through all that stuff.
But I also think, too, that you're going to go through times where you know exactly what it is and you're right on track and this is going well. And then after a period of time, you've played that out And it's like,
yes.
okay, well that part's done. Now what?
Yep. Yes.
And then you find something else perhaps, and then it's like, okay, and then you might play that out.
Yeah.
You know, so you might go through these periods of not knowing what's going on several times in your life.
And I can see that because, I mean, right now I'm the president of the Optimist group here in our local area, and it's like, all right, this was something that I had to do. I mean, this is what God showed me that I needed to do because I didn't want to get up in front of all those people and do all this stuff. Because it was a fear of mine, and it's like, nope, this is what you got to do. This is what we want you to do. I did it. 6 months, I did it. I'm here supposed to be for a year, which I am. In the beginning of the year, it's like, okay, you know, I'm bored. I did what I needed to do. I did what I needed to learn, but now it's like, okay, now I got to stick it out for the next little while. And I don't like that period. That period right there, I don't like because it's like I'm just like, I learned it, I'm done. And it really isn't because you got to stick it out. And it's like, okay, how do I get that passion back just to get to the end there? You know, don't give up before you get to the end.
How about if you look at it as, since you committed to a year, there's obviously more lessons to learn for the last 6 months because you committed for a year. So there's obviously still things left to learn.
And that's the way I've been looking at it, too. Like, it helps when other people talk to you about something like that. Because then you're like, oh, that's an idea I didn't think about.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, Jane. I mean, we do go through the times like, okay, we do this, and like, all right, we got that. All right, now we go to the next thing. All right, you know, and it's all about going forward. It's all about saying, oh, let's try this little adventure down this rabbit hole and see where this takes us. And then when you come out the other end, you can actually put it in your little pocket of things that you've done, and you can pull that information back out, say, on situations like this. No, not everyone's going to be having a blog talk radio show and stuff like that, but yes, that information, and you can connect with another person who's been there. So you're like, okay, I understand, you know, been there, done that.
Do you think that being the president of the Optimist Club like that has helped you and pushed you to be the radio host like you are right now?
No.
Okay.
The only reason I say that is because I was a radio host a couple years before this.
So if anything, it might have been the other way around.
Yes. That in fact is true. The other way around.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's interesting that you came back to it, too.
Well, and that is. I mean, it's like another passion that came out. It was like, I love being on the radio. I love putting the information out there. I love having these conversations with people from different places in the world, you know, along with the United States.
Well, and the interesting thing is, I remember you telling me that after you stopped doing the radio show and when you started joining the Optimist group, you felt like you had left an important part of you behind.
Yes. Yes. Because it's like shows like tonight, when we first got on and we were giving the information to people and it was just naturally coming, that's a passion, that's an energy that when you just do, for me anyways, and I'm going to call it a humdrum, just a regular job and regular this or that, you're not in that energy.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're not in that energy, that your energy kind of dips. So you have to come up with something else to bring it back up.
When you can do something that lights somebody up, like you were earlier on the call when the phone first started, when the show first started, and she was really lighting up with everything that you were saying.
Yes.
I mean, it was clearly in her reactions. She was lit up like nobody's business.
And you could feel it, too.
Oh, yeah. And that is what is, that's what, to me, brings purpose. When I know that I've lit somebody up like that, that feels so good, and I'm so grateful that I was given the ability to do things like that when I can.
And that's part of my passion. So when you're passionate about something, you exude energy. You exude this passionate energy, and you get people to come in and do different things. And is that charisma? Yeah, I think that's part of charisma. You know, is that manipulation? Not at all. You have. And I'm going a different route here. And when you have charisma in a religion, okay, and you get people to get in and involved and they follow you, okay, then you start manipulating them to do this and do this and do this. This particular type of thing, from my standpoint, is I'm giving you this information, you take it, you run with it, do whatever you want to do with it, but that's it. I'm
not expecting anything in return.
That's exactly right. That's the passion that I have. It's like, if I can light you up like a light bulb and give you ideas to go forward with your life and help your life, that's what I'm all about.
Sure.
This other stuff out here that I'm doing right now to make a living or to bring money to the table, whatever you want to call it, that's just normal stuff. Could I intermingle both of them? I tried that. It doesn't always work. And, this is my passion.
Well, and I think, Brenda, this is a creative outlet for you. And you realized that, I mean, you can't just simply ignore your creative outlet at all. Because when you, like we've talked about in previous shows, once you do that, it starts permeating the other aspects of your life too. So I think you realized, hey, I need to do this again. This is what I'm good at. This is what I love to do, because not only are you making a difference, but you're expressing yourself while you're doing so.
And I have to say that's the very same way with all of you. I mean, even Jay, you too, coming out here and calling and we're talking about all this stuff. I mean, this is obviously a passion for you, you know. And for Jane, the same thing. It's like, I got you hooked, girlfriend. You know, I mean. Go ahead.
My alarm is set for 5 to 7 on Sunday night, man.
Well, it's interesting that we have this conversation, and, you know, it's going all over the place right now, which is fine. And it really tells you, how much we are as a species of being creative and how we're connected to nature and things like that. So, but, as a guy, it's like, if it upsets our masculinity, oh, my God, we can't do that, right? It's sacred
the end of the world, right?
It's the end of the world, okay. And that's probably one of the reasons why guys usually don't choose this direction. And then what happens, like I see the lopsided in the relationship, and I've seen that so many times where it's like either it is tolerated or it is supported with no attachment of like, okay, I support you, but there's no, okay, let's do this together, right? Or they seem drag. I've seen this actually, witness this when a couple. I was just watching this couple, and this guy that was there. He didn't want to be there because he had his legs crossed and his arms crossed the entire session. But the wife was right in there and just and like, oh, okay, I've seen this before. So I'm just like, oh yeah, I get what's going on. So it can't upset her masculinity, but. What was masculinity for guys? So what is it? Because there's a men's group that was actually started. I went to a men's group in February. It was at a sweat. It was a men's sweat, and the guys started talking. Let's continue this. See what's going. And one person was, let's go salsa dancing. I'm going like, okay, that's nice to know for me. And so I was saying that. Another person was saying, I had this breakup in relationship and things like that. And then from that point on, I knew that men's group was going to go downhill because I just knew it, because they were talking about stuff that really kind of like get your shit together, and we'll work on the other stuff after that. Like get your masculinity and get your male stuff together. I mean, and I go like,
so deep enough.
Yeah, let's just go a little bit deeper than that, okay? And then go like, oh shit, it didn't work out. I mean, the men's group was basically discontinued, but it's just like, I don't know, why guys do that? Why guys do that? Let's just work on our own soul and find out who we are, and then things seem to work out. But okay. Anyhow, that's my drift.
I don't think that we know. I don't think they know. I don't think we've helped them or shown them in a way that will click for them. And that's the thing is what we were talking about before is, and Jay, you mentioned this, men are wired differently than women. Well, what we need to do as human beings or humanity or whatever is we do need to nurture that aspect of the male masculinity. And I say nurture is to say, okay, don't go in there and say, oh, you should be this way, or, oh, you know, and I'm saying, oh, you should be this way. And no, what I'm saying is we need to find a way to make it comfortable for them, bring it across to them that they can open up and they can be really who they are inside. And maybe it won't take them as long as it did Bruce Jenner or some of the other people. But it's finding that little niche or that little way in to make it not so uncomfortable for them. To be able to say, okay, it is okay to cry in front of people. It's all right. You're not going to be a sissy. You know, it's okay because you're showing that emotion. It's okay to show your emotion. As long as you don't go overboard, of course. But but it's okay. So I think that if we can find a way that it's not going to take away from their masculinity, but maybe add to it instead, and I mean a good way to add to it, not to make it harsher, but to make it maybe a little softer. I think we'll have something there. But finding that little niche on that little balance, that's going to be a challenge. But with the TV shows, with the commercials, with who I see and what I see out here, you have more and more men who are taking care of the children and stuff like that. And I mean, it's awesome to see. They're caring more. They're showing, that love connection. That I'm going to stand up for my child, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to be there. I don't care about work. I mean, I do, but I don't. It's like, but my child is more important. And they're starting to come around to that now. And that's all we can ask, because then now they're starting to feel that emotion. Where before it's like, no, you're the hunter-gatherer, and that's all you are. Okay, you're out there to strive and to make things work, and blah blah blah, and you can't have any emotions. That's changing now, and that's what I like, because it is changing. And with you guys, with more and more men coming on to radio shows like this and bringing out that aspect and asking these questions and learning and also inputting, we're making a difference. Definitely. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but maybe later on. Because who knows how long these things stay out there.
There's a pastor that has a show. His name is Mark Gungor, Gungor. And if you Google A Tale of Two Brains, he talks about men's brains and women's brains, and he talks about the differences between them. And it's actually very humorous the way he does this, but he really hits home. And he talks about men have a box. Men open the box, and they want to talk about what's in this box, where women have several things in the box. And the topic might pertain to anything that's in that box. He says, and men do have a box that has nothing in it. When you ask your man, what are you thinking about? And he says nothing. He has a nothing box. He's thinking about nothing. It's very, very entertaining and very dead on. It's called A Tale of Two Brains by Mark Gungor.
And I think it varies from man to man, too, because I can tell you what, there are days where I have a ton of shit in my box, and then I have days where there's nothing in my box.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I had nothing in my box sometimes, too, I'll tell you. And this weekend I emptied my box out so I could have nothing in my box and just concentrate on me. And I think the women need to learn that too. Women need to learn that they don't have to be multitaskers all the time. Women need to learn that they need time for themselves.
It's actually not good to multitask. multitasking is really not good for you.
No, it's not.
Because you're not giving anything 100% then.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Again, there needs to be a balance there.
Yeah.
Because if you totally focus on one thing, that's not so good for other things that need to be done too.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that needs to be balanced. And I'm going to go on topic, but off topic a little bit too. I believe multitasking has also produced ADD and ADHD.
Mm.
You know, I believe it has a link to it.
Yes.
Because now we're making guys try to multitask when we didn't before. Okay, and through multitasking and that energy through generation after generation after generation, we can't stay on topic. We have like, oh, I got to think about this and go there. Oh, I got to do this. And, you know, it's like, no. We have to stay on topic. If you have to, write down what you were going to do or what you thought, and then do it after you're done with this one. I mean, there are times. So I do believe that that's a part of it, that, you know, the multitasking has done this to our society.
I can totally agree.
This is my thought.
Let me chime in on
I
that.
like that. Yes. Great.
Chime in on this one. Get on topic. It's okay. Anything goes tonight. I find that the technology we have right now is creating ADD for sure. With all the make-believe friends we have on our Facebook page, texting us saying, hello, how are you doing, and what's going on with your new events, and stuff like that. And then you go to the next person, type. And then you go to the next person, type. And the next person, type. And you don't know where you are, actually, when you're doing this. And what happens, it actually does do that. It does actually create ADD. And I actually think, I don't know if there are any studies regarding that, about doing that, but I think I think around, if you keep doing this about 35 years old, this is when ADD starts to happen. Because what happens is that your brain, can only receive some information and let go of it in a certain amount of time. But because we're already feeding our brain all this information all the time, it doesn't have enough time to let it all go. So what happens is it creates this ADD effect in your brain, right? It's basically training your brain to be ADD, and that's very bad, actually, because we don't have a medical system to actually deal with that. But it might be the next money-making medical business for ADD or something like that. So, but yeah, that's what's happening. We just don't have. It's really terrible about seeing that. But I'm not caught in that illusion of having 1,000 friends and saying how you doing all the time. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's really interesting that you bring up ADD, because I've heard an argument against ADD, that ADD is largely a constructed condition. Because I know nowadays we see kids who get bored and everyone's like, oh, they must have ADD, they're bored. And it's like, no, they're just bored. They don't want to do what they're doing.
They're just a normal child.
Right. It's the same with autism. Because I was talking to Cindy about this the other day.
Mm-hmm.
People assume that if a child doesn't want to talk or is socially awkward, that they're autistic. And honestly, I love technology. I love the interwebs. I feel like the internet has given me a chance to stay connected with people who I don't get to see often anymore. And I guess maybe I will experience this later on down the road. I don't know. But I haven't experienced any sort of attention difficulty with incorporating technology in my life. Normally, if I have an issue, it's probably because I'm lazy, not because I have lack of attention.
Mm-hmm. Well, and what I found out too is because we have TVs in our bedrooms now. Okay, and this is something new, not new, but something new, is when we fall asleep, that TV's still going. Our brain doesn't have time to relax.
Yeah.
So it keeps going, and we keep training it. We train it to go, 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 go. And my big pet peeve is if you have a television in your room, turn it off before you go to bed, so your brain can actually relax, and it doesn't have to think about anything. It can just relax. It can just relax. That's my biggest pet peeve.
This is why I think meditation is important, because I like going to school and having a job and all of that jazz. Your mind gets really stretched throughout the day, and I like if I don't meditate at least 5 minutes before I go to bed, I will go to bed and I will have lists going on. I will have like progress thingies in my head. This is what I have to do. This is how much I have done. Oh my God, I don't want to engage in the social interaction tomorrow. How do I get out of it? Like stupid things like that go on in my head. And I have to, like, just sit down for a moment. I usually listen to music, and I'm just like, okay, brain, shut up. It's time to sleep. Don't think about things tomorrow. You will deal with tomorrow when it gets here. And that's usually what helps me sleep so much better.
Yeah.
And we don't think that we can take control of our brain. Wrong.
Yeah.
You can tell your brain to shut down. You may have to be forceful. I remember one time I was working in a factory, and it's noisy. Okay, the machines are going and everything else, and the music over top, because you have to be a little loud. But my brain was like, blah, 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 blah. I'm hearing voices. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, and then in my mind I'm like, shut up. And when I did that, it was nothing. There was nothing. Holy shit, did I get rid of everybody?
No, wait a minute. I didn't know that I want everybody gone.
There was no thoughts. There was no words. There was nothing. It was like peace, calm. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. And it lasted for quite some time, and I'm thinking, holy shit, did I really get rid of everybody? Okay, you guys, where'd you go? I'm looking up all over the place. Where'd you go?
Yeah, right.
So, but you could do that.
I learned about 8 months ago. Yeah, I learned about 8 months ago. I don't know what it is, but, I had so much going on, like Donnie was saying about, the lists and this and that. I couldn't sleep and tossing and turning. And then finally, I don't know what brought it up, but in my head, I just started telling myself, pause. Just pause. And now that's all I have to do when my mind is going is just say pause, and then start breathing, and focus on my breathing, and that's all that I need to do, and I'll go right to sleep.
Good.
Yeah.
And it's about reprogramming. It's reprogramming your brain. And
sure.
I mean, think about this. We hear stuff over and 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 over 6,000 times, and our brain picks that up. And what you have to do is train the neural networks to change, like break off of that like be derailing. You're derailing that aspect. But we can retrain our brain. That's the beauty about the brain is you can retrain it. And affirmations are really good if you really believe in them.
Yeah, that's the key though. If you don't believe in what you're telling yourself, the affirmations don't mean crap.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
You have to put energy into it for it to manifest itself.
Yeah.
In meditation, guys, meditation, it really isn't that hard. Okay?
No.
Meditation aspect is breathe in, breathe out. Concentrate on your breathing. And last night when I did that for the whole hour, that's all I concentrated on was breathing in, breathing out. I didn't think I was going to be able to stay for the whole hour because it's been a long time. But I was able to do it. And I broke through something that kept me back. With that, we have a little bit more time left, but we do have a caller who just popped in. I'm going to bring the caller in, okay?
Good.
Jay, do you want to stay in the line or you just want to listen?
I'll stand.
No, Jay.
Oh, Jay.
Well, still here. Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to stay in the line or you just want to listen?
Sure. I'll just listen.
Okay. Let me push back out.
Thank you for joining us.
All right, caller. You're on the air. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. I haven't heard from you guys in a while. Doing good.
Good. So, do you have a question for us?
I don't know what you guys. I've caught the tail end of your show, but it's good. Whatever you guys pick up, I'm doing everything but anything for myself for the better. A lot of meditation. Right. Today I did my meditation. I was trying to stay at the tail end of it. I'm like, that's it. I can't do it anymore. Same thing we were doing today.
Well, sometimes it does happen because last night when I was talking about meditation, I was like, all right, I felt like I needed to do what I did, and so 3 minutes, almost 4 minutes from ending is like, okay, I'm just coming out because I'm done, I'm good. So, that's okay too. Don't force yourself, because the more you force yourself to stay into meditation, the less likely you'll do it the next. Yeah.
Right.
I think people think that they have to stop their thoughts during meditation, and it's really quite the opposite. You just allow your thoughts. You don't stop your thoughts. You just allow them to come in and pass. And focus on your breathing, and that's the difference.
God, now I know the difference now, like as soon as you said it. Gotcha.
Yeah, because if you start, your thoughts will you're not going to stop your thoughts, and what happens is we start thinking about, oh my God, I'm thinking about that again, and then you start getting down on yourself, and then you're so far out of meditation because now your thoughts interrupted you the first time, but then your attitude about your thoughts, your observation about your thoughts is kicking you out even further.
True.
So if you can just allow your thoughts and just say, okay, oops, I forgot. I'm thinking about, just focus on my breathing and just allow it to come in. It's like, oh, there I went again. I'll just go back to my breathing. And don't get down on yourself because you're going to do it. We all do it.
Yeah, it's a natural thing. The other thing too is...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, the other thing for me is I was taught that, okay, you're in meditation, these thoughts come in, just thank it for coming in, and, be on your way, thank you for coming, be on your way, And then also, like Jane said, is to go back and concentrate on your breathing. It's like, got to reset, okay, breathe. Thought, thank you for coming, reset, breathe.
Yep.
That's what I had to do last night.
Gotcha. It's almost like balancing yourself out, basically.
Yeah. Don't get frustrated with yourself when your thoughts come up.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to go into the positive. Yeah.
Yep.
Trying to get as soon as I think I'm trying to go into the positive.
Yep.
That is so true.
Absolutely. And it's just the balancing. And it's allowing. There are many ways that you can meditate. Even walking out in nature is a meditation.
Oh, sure.
True. I've been doing that almost every day. Good weather.
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't have to stay in meditation for an hour like I do. I actually, if I get time, I can do that. I'm like, I feel so much better. But people, you can take 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is that you want, is just to allow things to recirculate or to circulate out of your brain. It's and I'm moving my hands around the circles, and then moving away from my body. It's like, okay, it's circling in your brain. I'm like, okay, thank you, and then off. It's just like refocusing, rebalancing type of deal, and it's kind of cool stuff to do.
Sure.
It helps. It helps my body and spirit. I'm telling you. I got away from meditation. I got away from my meditation for, I would say, maybe the last year and a half or two, and I've noticed a difference. Because before, when I was meditating regularly, and everything was calm, nothing really bothered me, and I could understand, and I could be above all the negative energy and stuff like that. But once I stopped meditating, it came back. It took a little while to come back, but it came back, and I'm here, and I'm like, okay, I got this. But it's beneficial all the way around. You feel more connected.
True. And the truth comes out too.
Sure does.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I've been noticing that for the last week or so. Like if I do like the bath meditation thing, that's what seems to help me. About 20 minutes, and I'm like, truth is coming out now. So try to do that. That's what I've been doing. So.
Yeah, and you become more aware. I mean, that's the big side effect is you become more aware, and it's like, oh, okay, I understand that, and oh, okay, yeah, no problem. You know, and it's just kind of neat. It's kind of neat to be able to go in there. Okay, we have a little less than 2 minutes left, and so caller from New Jersey, right?
Right.
Okay. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to put you back on listening for just a little bit, and I'm going to say this bill close out. Definitely thank you for coming in and talking about meditation because it is important.
Absolutely.
So, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, so with all of that said, I'm going to make a nice little plug here. We do have Mystical Awakening for Mystical Awakenings Radio right here. They have Mystical Awakenings on Wednesday from 9 to 7. Beyond Smoke and Mirrors is on, I believe, Wednesday from 9 to 11. It's going to start this coming month. And then True Paranormal right on the station again, Fridays at 7 to 9. And with that said, thank you very much for coming. We had a wonderful time, great conversations, great topics. And next week is going to be, I don't recall. No. Want to know a secret. That's the secret. You want to know a secret. And so again, thank you. And remember, follow your heart, for only you know which path is right for you. Have a great week, everyone.